The 2025 Formula One season is poised to be one of the most highly anticipated and competitive ones that we've seen in quite a while, and with teams revealing their cars that are 99% different to 2024, we should settle for nothing less than continuous drama weekend after weekend. But with Ferrari leading the charge and being the team that we expect the most out of, could we see a rebirth of the 2007 campaign and the first championship in quite some time? Ferrari is by far the most hyped up team on the grid right now, and that's really not an overreaction. The team conducted the first test on the SF25 with both Leclerc and Hamilton running 100 kilometers in the private circuit in Fiorano, and it seems like the feedback was more than satisfactory. This comes after plenty of changes have been introduced to the car, starting with the pull rod suspension and continuing all over to the rear wing of the car. What Ferrari is looking to do is make this small and precise evolution of the internal mechanics of the car work wonders, but the mission of turning the 2025 Challenger into a brand new one extends to a far greater process. The car has a new chassis and it would be complemented with a new cooling layout, which, while revolutionary by itself, is not as extreme as the one Red Bull introduced in 2024, because Ferrari have been told that they don't want to take unnecessary risks and fall into the same trap that Red Bull did. Furthermore, the air intake will remain the same, triangular like the roll hoop, but with the team's priority being to eliminate the limitations that have plagued the performance of the SF24 over one lap and throughout an entire race simulation. It's easy to assume that the testing in Maranello has been a great indicator that everything has gone well behind closed doors in the Italian factories. When talking about it, the chassis technical director Loic Serra was full of hope as he went on to say, "The SF25 is an evolution of last year's car, which had already shown good potential. We have worked hard, changing 99% of the car and evolving its architecture to maximise performance. The front pull rod suspension is just the most visible of the many significant changes we have made. The upcoming season will be extremely competitive, where every millisecond will count. We are therefore ready to do our best to find those gains, even marginal ones, that can make the difference. We can't wait to hit the track." Furthermore, Leclerc said that he would be quite surprised if his team doesn't find himself winning both of the championships, which is not too optimistic of a target if you think about the fact that he has Hamilton as his teammate. Elaborating further on this, Leclerc went on to say, "We will find out on the track if it's the best car. It's definitely better than the 2024 one. The Constructors' Championship is the most logical goal. Last year we came in second, very close to McLaren, but I've always had a dream to win the title, and I hope to do it in 2025. Me and Hamilton get along very well. I have a lot to analyse about his way of working and his driving. Let's hope it's Ferrari's year. Today in Fiorano we didn't have any bad surprises, like a bad feeling or numbers that we didn't expect. The feeling was good. I would be disappointed if we didn't win one of the two World Championships." Ferrari have been quite open with the development of their car, and it looks like they haven't wasted any time on making it the most competitive package for both Leclerc and Hamilton without pushing each other out of the way. The goal is simple: to see who will be the number one driver by fighting on the track, not in an outside manner, and this is the sweet headache that Vasseur would much rather deal with than having to be satisfied with anything that is below P1. When they signed Hamilton, they knew the weight that this transfer comes with, and the fact that there will be internal fights that could spill into a toxic relationship, enraging the entire team. And to add more fuel to the fire, Hamilton believes that the team has all of the ingredients needed to fight for the championship, which, to be fair, is not that far-fetched of a scenario given the fact that they are the best duo on the grid with Leclerc. When talking about the chances of his new team to win it all on the track, Hamilton has gone on to say, "I feel confident 100%. I don't have the slightest doubt or question in my head. I am in the right place at the right time, and it's a great privilege to be here, to join this team and to work with everyone to try to build and continue this great historical tradition of the team. Every day has been exciting." From seeing the passion, everything under one roof, which I've never experienced before, this team has absolutely every ingredient to win, but we are also aware we have to continue to work. We have to improve and elevate everywhere. Not everywhere, but in certain areas, and I have no doubt that we can can do that. I have genuinely loved every day I have been here. It's a place you don't really want to leave in the day. The first results from the simulator show that Ferrari found around half a second of performance in the simulator, which to be fair is quite a good improvement compared to last year. Even Leclerc said it himself, the car feels much nicer and different compared to what they used to drive last year. So all in all, it's going to be a season in which the team would be smart to allocate just enough resources to fight McLaren, but also save for the new regulations when everything starts from zero. The rebuild of the SF25 has been entirely focused on changing the basic behaviour and improving the operation window compared to last season, as well as to adapt to the deficit that they often faced in qualifying. While Leclerc has been nothing short of phenomenal when it comes to pushing the absolute maximum from the car over one lap performance and often being on the front row when he had no business to do so, it's something that he would do much more often now that the car's optimization has been further strengthened. On the other hand, it's also something that Lewis Hamilton would have to adapt to because he's going against one of the best, if not the best qualifiers on the grid. So to have him as your teammate and in one of the best cars on the grid is a challenge that will show whether you're ready to take on the fight seriously from day one. If something drastically doesn't happen in the camps of Red Bull and Mercedes, the expectation is that Ferrari and McLaren will be the teams to fight it out for the ultimate prize. But have Ferrari done enough to be just ahead of the Woking-based squad over the winter? The progress that McLaren made is not to be sniffed at, as both Norris and Piastri are now eager to prove that once they start from a clean plate, the season will be shaped much differently. The Woking-based squad is the one that is coming as a winner of the Constructors' Championship, and rightfully so. They will have a target on their back that they will carry over in 2025. The team has taken a very bold stance and approach with their 2025 car because, similar to Red Bull in 2024, they know that if they keep the same development pace and if they don't try to raise the bar, they will get caught up in the last year of the regulation changes from the other teams. That is why the design of the MCL 39 has blown everyone away when we noticed the details in the shakedown show in Silverstone. For starters, the front suspension has been the part that caught our attention the most because of the aggressive anti-dive effect that McLaren implemented here. Of course, you want to be as precise as possible because there is a very thin line between having an extremely successful anti-dive effect on your front suspension and a complete failure. The rear arms anchoring has been lowered and moved back of the upper triangle of the front suspension, with the nose being modified in length, and the front wing kept the specification very similar to the one that we saw in 2024. No question about it, the team is ready to rock and roll, and when talking about it to a greater extent, Andrea Stella added, "We will be brave because we have focused on innovation. This is to be able to make a new leap in quality with the ambition of trying to win the driver's title this time too." But the innovations do not end here. McLaren has evolved its side pods and airbox, and the new inlets have been inspired by Mercedes. The connecting line between these two teams has often been found in the flexibility of the front wings, a saga that never ends, and one that McLaren said won't have an effect on how they develop the 2025 cars. A bigger airbox is now present on the MCL 39, one that is more oval in shape and one that features a canonical triangular inlet. The comparison of the two ears on the side of the car is slightly bigger if you compare them to the MCL 38. So yes, I believe you can freely say that McLaren have been quite innovative when it comes to designing their own cars. But while they would have to defend against the greatest duo on the grid, Ferrari, they will have the X factor of Verstappen charging with the RB21 behind them, one that proved to be too big of a task to be handled by Norris in 2024. With all this in mind, do you think that Ferrari has enough strength to beat McLaren in a fair fight? Let us know in the comments below, and if you want to find out more about the gains that Ferrari made with the SF25 on their private track in Fiorano, make sure to click on the video that's appearing on your screen right now.